Welcome to an episode talking on a very different topic around self-care and conscious thinking with my guest today, Jenny Field. I'm really excited to get into this because it's such a very different topic. So I'm ready to hear your take on it actually, Jenny. But before we get started, do you want to introduce yourself and what you do?
So, as Dani said, my name's Jenny Field, and my business is called Just Being Me, and it is purely and simply because I just wanted to be me. My business came about because I traveled a journey, and that journey was trying to find out who I was. And I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life, and lots of moments where I think I need to work out something. But the big one came a couple of years ago, and I really needed to sort out who I was, why I felt like I did, and where I wanted to go. And that's exactly what I did. And that's very sadly, I didn't get any support from anybody outside. They offered me support in the future when I was less chaotic, but at that moment in time, no, there wasn't support. So I had to do it for me. And that just simply started with self-care. And over the last 2.5 years, I have learnt who I am, how I feel. I've learned that nobody else can validate me but me. And I've got myself to a place now where, yeah, life still has ups and downs, but boy, the downs are so much better than they ever were. So my business has come from my experience, but actually my qualifications, because what I used to do was support vulnerable people. So I have got all the qualifications in that. But now it also comes from a basis of I really understand the place that you need to go to just be you.
Oh, I love that. She always has her words with words. You're gonna love this podcast listening to Jenny. It's gonna be so good. So I actually want to start with your journey, Jenny, around self-care and conscious thinking, because both of these are two things that you have implemented that have helped you on your journey, aren't they? And now you share that with everybody else, like in your community and the people that you work with. So what's kind of been the journey to get you to doing this and sharing it with others? And obviously you've shared a little bit about that. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's explore.
So the reality is, if you wanted to play the piano, you walk up to the piano, can you play like you're a concert pianist?
Oh no, definitely not.
So let's start right at that point. You've walked up to the piano and you have to practice, and you have to practice regularly. And to begin with, you don't practice as much as perhaps you should do until you find that actually, I'm liking this. And then you practice more and more and more. And so for me, 2.5 years down the line, I am seriously addicted to looking after myself,
Yeah.
because it gives me, I don't smoke anymore. I don't drink as much as I used to drink, because it gives me that buzz. And actually, even if I have had a drink, we were on holiday a couple of weeks ago, we all had a drink, and I was just sitting there thinking, actually, this isn't doing for me what that does for me. So I literally started waking up in the morning and going, I can't wake up like this anymore. I've got to wake up and think something different. So I started with, my tagline now is always, I am amazing.
Oh,
And I absolutely didn't believe it. I did not believe it at that time. But I kept telling myself that, and my brain started believing me, because your brain only knows, your brain doesn't know anything on its own. It only knows what you tell it, what you listen to, what you create as habits. So if you're feeling, and this is always the really hard thing for people to get, is everything in your life is up to you. You always have a choice. You can go this way or that way.
yes. So true though.
Absolutely. Once you get that, you can then sit there and go, okay. But we're so stuck in doing in this world that we need to do things to appear successful. Actually, what you need to do is be, and that's
Mm.
in the present moment. So my journey was affirmation. So that started off with talking it out in my head every morning, because I didn't want anybody to hear me saying it. You know, that they'll just all think I'm mad, you know. And then it started with, continued on to be me saying, I'm amazing, when I didn't think anybody could hear me, so that my brain could hear me saying it rather than just think me saying it. And then it got up to me going, I am amazing. So I was actually saying it in a tone that I believed, which I did. These days, now, if I wander past anything that's shiny, that's likely to reflect back at me, I'm back at it going, oh, I'm amazing, because I can see myself doing it. So
Yeah.
if I'm on a screen like this, I can sit here and go, oh, I'm amazing, because I can see my lips doing it. I can hear it, and it's going through my head. I'm very visual in my head, so I can hear that. So I am reaffirming all the time that I am amazing. My brain knows that. That's it. That's its basis now, because I've said this enough times over the last 2.5 years that that's what the brain believes. So if somebody tells me differently, my brain goes, well, hang on a minute, I'm amazing. Now, that's not from a boasty point of view, because that doesn't live in my world anymore, because your journey is your journey, and I'm really glad if your journey goes well, and I'm really sad for you if your journey doesn't go well. But I don't need to be in the place of going, oh, well, I don't need that, because any of that is a negative vibration. We're vibrational beings, and we're like magnets. We attract the vibration that we give out.
Yes.
So if you do the she did this, she did that, you're going to get she did this, she did that back.
Yeah, it's true.
It absolutely is. So if you're living in a situation that you don't like and you don't feel good, then you need to take a look at what's going through your brain and what's coming out of your mouth, because you are responsible for that. Nobody else is responsible for that. We do a lot of this. Well, he made me. No, you had a choice.
It sounds quite childish when we look at, so I actually teach my kids this. So, you know, like kids fall out, bicker, and mine hit each other all. It drives me insane. But I said, he made me, she made me. And I go, no, you are responsible for your actions or the words that come out of your mouth. And I just try and reaffirm that to them all the time. And I will say it till I'm blue in the face, because I know how important that is. And I actually think now, but as adults, we still do this. And there's a long way to go with people doing this. Well, I had to because of he, she, them. And it's like, no, actually, because we are responsible for our actions, our words. And like you said, choice, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, there's always the very, very extreme cases of where you don't get a choice,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's a very, very extreme case where violence involved and those sorts of things. But
yeah. Or health, yeah.
yeah, you it's interesting with health. It's interesting one with health. So as you know, Dani, my partner has ME and fibromyalgia, and you have a choice to be that person. So you have a choice to just be the person who has fibromyalgia, or you have a choice to be, this is me, I happen to have. So I've recently had a conversation, because I identified early last year that I'm neurodiverse. We believe it's ADHD, possibly with autistic tendencies. But we are all on the spectrum as far as I'm concerned, somewhere along the line. It's just what bits you've got of it. So I had to have a conversation, because somebody kept saying to me, well, it's because you're ADHD, it's because you're ADHD. And I went, whoa. Actually, I am Jenny. My intrinsic me is Jenny. I happen to have ADHD. That does not mean that I have every symptom of ADHD going.
It's true.
I have recently been through a cancer operation. And as far as I was concerned, I was diagnosed in late November. I had my operation in early January, and I've just had my results this week that I'm negative and clear. And I traveled through that journey, and everybody kept saying to me, it's like you're not, and I'm going, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
The things that I can do, I need to do the exercises so that I'm okay for any treatment afterwards. I need to be able to do those. I need to keep myself moving so that the scar doesn't form tissue that won't move. That's something I can do about, but the rest of it, there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, do you know what's really interesting, Jenny? Your ears might have been burning, because people that know us both have said, you know about Jenny? Yeah, I know about Jenny. Isn't she doing amazing? Look at the way she's talking
Well,
about
thank you for that.
dealing with it. And it's so nice to hear someone say that, and also see you in the way you have dealt with it. And I think that is proof enough that what you embody what you talk about, for starters, but proof enough that you can get through things just working, well, I'm guessing conscious thinking, but looking after yourself as well. And I love how both of those have played a
But
massive,
conscious
massive
thinking
part.
comes from looking after myself, because you
Yeah,
can't do conscious thinking properly, because conscious thinking is about going, okay, so this person just said this to me. This is just an example. Somebody just said something to me. So you've just said a really nice thing. So I can ask myself, Oh, somebody's just said that and said that I'm doing amazing. That makes me feel good. Why does that make me feel good? Because actually I'm being seen in a positive light. Do I need other people to see me in a positive light? No.
Yeah,
I just need to be able to see myself in a positive. So that's the whole conversation that goes through my head
I love
as a
that.
conscious thought process. But that's not to say that it's not nice to have that, but I don't need it. It's an
Yeah,
extra. I don't need it. It's an
definitely.
extra. And that is very much my way of when I work with my clients, we're working on things whereby the fact that actually I don't ask you to do anything I wouldn't do myself. In a lot of cases, I don't ask you to do anything that I haven't done myself.
Yeah,
So my journey is now changing because of the fact that I have a lot of positivity around me. And what was really, really interesting is all of my relationships around me. So the people that actually were negative around me, that weren't serving me any purpose, drifted away. They
mm,
went, I might see them occasionally, but I don't spend a lot of time with them. The people who are now in my world are the people I've attracted because my vibration is of that ilk.
I love
And
that.
what's really interesting is how I used to sit there and think, oh, I wish he would do that. I wish she would do that in my family and friends around me. Make my life so why don't they do that? Da, da, da. And actually, since I've stopped all of that, now they do all these things. Now they do the things. And I think, oh, wow. As
Yeah,
simple as, I just
gosh,
wish they would take the toilet roll and put it in the recycling bin. Don't leave
I
it on
relate
the
to
toilet roll holder. That used to drive me insane. And these days, I think to myself, occasionally it gets left there. And my thought process then is, oh, they've forgotten.
yeah, I love
Because
that. What a
the
gift.
norm is they do it.
Yeah,
But I haven't
yeah,
asked them. I haven't asked them. Nothing's changed apart from me.
I love that. So let's circle back to self-care because I think sometimes have a disillusioned idea of what it actually is. What do you reckon self-care actually means?
Anything that fills your cup. Anything that fills your cup. So I'm literally sat on my table and I've rediscovered my love for jigsaws.
Oh, I love a
And
jigsaw.
I have a jigsaw board that I can fold up, put it out the way so we can use the table. So I have a jigsaw that my friend gave to me, and it turns out to be bigger than my jigsaw board. So now my dining room table where we eat is covered in jigsaw pieces. So my laptop's literally sat on this jigsaw at the moment. So I'm thinking, don't move it, don't move it, don't move my jigsaw. I can, if I'm feeling rubbish, I can come in here and put a piece in my jigsaw and get lost in my jigsaw. I have challenged myself because I'm in my late 50s now and I need to be moving more. So I am now walking every day, come rain or shine. And it's only half an hour, mainly because we don't have enough light in the day with me working, but it's half an hour and that's diaried into my day. So
Makes a
in fact,
difference.
my walk today is diaried for after this. After this, I've got half an hour walk.
I love that.
So if I feel rubbish and I can't get out for a walk, I'll go and stand at my door, my window, wherever, and do 5 deep breaths of outside air.
Yeah.
I do a thing. A lot of people say to me, I don't have time for self-care. I don't have time for that. So I've created a thing that I call the toilet break toolkit. And everything in that you can do in the time it takes you to go to the toilet.
Yeah, because reality is we do have time. We just have to prioritize ourselves and that self care, don't we? And it's the biggest bugbear is this, and I still do it. I'm still guilty of it. I don't have time excuse, but I'm getting better because obviously I see it a lot in my clients, and I bet you do as well. And I need to work on that to, in my opinion, that you do the embody that, so it's not an excuse for me, and it's not an excuse for anybody else to not look after ourselves. Absolutely. So conscious thinking, let's talk about that. You've kind of explained a little bit about it, but what would you say it is as a whole? So that because people that haven't come across it, how can they kind of understand what it is and how they can bring that into their lives as well?
I'm not a scientist, so I can't explain it in the scientist way. I can explain it in the way that I experience it. And
Yeah,
I'm very visual with the ADHD, so whatever goes on, I've got pictures going on in my head,
I'm the
so
same. Yeah,
yeah. And it's a very neurodiverse thing. So we not only do we have the actual listening to it and speaking it, it's all going on in here as well and pictorially. So basically, conscious thinking is actually being conscious about what you do because we do an awful lot of things instinctively, reactionally, subconsciously, bringing it to being conscious and creating a routine, a habit, a routine, and a reward. So a habit encompasses, the habit is the thing, then you have the routine that the habit is, and then the reward that the habit gives you.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is a lot of the rewards are not nice rewards, if you like, which is, so I was talking to somebody about they pick the skin on their fingers, and the reward is when the pain stops. So it's like, why do you need the pain? Well, I need this thing to go, and it's become a habit. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, do you think you could stop that habit? And then we talk through, okay, and when you go, okay, the realization is, what am I doing to myself? Oh, actually, I'm picking bits of skin off down the side of my fingers here and causing myself to bleed. Is that something I want to do? And you really think that through, you can then start going, okay, no, I don't really want to do that because it hurts.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, I like the bit when the pain stops, but I have to go through the pain. So what can I do to stop that? So put a barrier in the way. So because this is so instinctive, if you put a plaster on, you go to do it and the plaster's there. So so now it's conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's not subconsciously happening. It's now a conscious, because you've given yourself something. And then it's about finding out, what is the trigger that makes you do that? What is the thing that makes you do that?
Oh, I relate to this so much right now because
Exactly.
I'm
So
working on
you
my
only do
health. So
habits.
yeah.
A habit, the first part of a habit is a trigger.
Yeah.
So what you consciously have to do, and a lot of people like to write this down. So why do I pick my fingers? And then you write that process down, and you ask yourself questions and give your brain time to answer, because the first answer your brain will always give you is the one that you keep telling yourself.
Yeah. When actually
Yeah.
there's sometimes different meaning behind it, isn't there?
Oh,
Or more
absolutely.
layers
So
to it.
if we're asked why we do something in particular, we'll create a reason why there's a good reason to do it, or a good reason why you can't do it. And that's the first one the brain that will bring to front, because that's what you keep telling your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first thing it will bring to you, because that's the first thing in its filing system. Whereas if you just sit there and go, is that true? Then the brain's got to go, hang on, let's just look a little bit further back.
Yeah.
And then you ask the question, well, why would I think that? And it goes back. And then you can just sit. And if you can manage to sit in quietness and just let your brain do the thing, you will find eventually, and it might be a couple of days later, where you suddenly go, that's why I do that.
I recently had hypnotherapy, and this has happened as a result of that. And it's interesting how you peel things back, and you're like, like I was sat there doing nothing related to this at all, and I'm like,
Absolutely.
oh, it's come to me. Do
Because
you
your
know what
brain's
I
got
think?
time.
Yeah, you have got to give it that time, haven't you? But I
Yeah.
think you explain it so well, because I worried that I wouldn't understand conscious thinking properly, but you explain it so well. So that is amazing for the listeners and watchers to hear from you, so that they could maybe implement it in their daily routine. And if they want to do that, they want to well, you've talked about the toilet self-care thing, which I love. So you've kind of answered this question already, Jenny, but I was going to ask, how can we apply self-care into our daily life, but then also how we can work on conscious thinking on a regular basis as well?
So self-care is as simple as just taking 5 deep breaths. Self-care is as simple as, I really like to listen to certain types of music, so I'll put the music on, maybe even whilst I'm doing some work. If I've got some work, work is always a hard one for me because I love working. I love what I do. So consequently, Dani, you've known me long enough and you've watched me transfer into this part of my life, and I absolutely love what I'm doing now. So that's always a hard one for me, but I have to be bounded again. But self-care is just little things as simple as, I store away. So if I have a really good thing happen to me, I store that in my head. What happens is I store that in a little tiny milk bottle, and I attach it to my little mechanism that goes around and stores away. Like in Monsters Inc., they have the doors all on there, and you
Oh
press a
yeah,
button and it comes forward.
I was
So
actually visualizing something like that.
I literally go, I'm struggling a little bit here. Okay, I can do some deep breathing. I'll do my deep breathing. Oh, I'll tell you what. Oh, I'm going to think about that moment. And I press the button for this memory. Come to the front, and the milk bottle pulls out my
That's
memory. And I can sit there
amazing.
in that feeling of that moment of when I felt good. So, but what that also does is I consciously think of the good things.
Yeah.
So when something's really good happening, so I had a family holiday with all of my family with me, and I sat there listening to them all chattering. And I literally didn't join in. I just sat back and I listened to all the chatter going on of all of my family in one space. And I stored that memory. I literally sat there, listened to it. Not the words they were saying, but that hum of them all,
Yeah.
and how that made me feel that all of my
I love
family want
that.
to be together. They're spending time together. Here we are all together. I'm storing this memory, and I consciously
In the
stored it.
moment, isn't it? My mum did it the other week
Absolutely.
because it's rare we all go out as girls together, and we did. And next thing, my phone pings, and she'd posted a social media post. Did my mum saying it's so nice to have all my, and I seen her just in this moment, just really appreciating having all of us together, us girls, and just having a fun time. Just we
Absolutely.
have had recent health challenges, so for her to be sat there feeling good with us, and I just thought, oh, it's so nice, and I love that because I've had moments like that myself, and I think we need more of those in the moment
And
things.
the thing is, though, the thing is with everything that I'm talking about, you start doing it, and the more you practice it, the more it happens.
Yes,
So you grow it, you
yeah.
attract it, it's coming to you. So if you want to feel good, then start by making yourself, finding out, ask this question of how can I feel good?
And then
That's
when you're not doing it, you'll notice the impact of not having those conscious thoughts or the self care because it will have a
absolutely.
negative. Well, your vibrations will lower for a start, won't they? And then as a result of that, we match people's energy, things bounce off our energy, and so on. So for anyone that's not interested, definitely look into how energy works because this will literally change your life. It has for me, it has for you.
So I've created an energy tracker,
Oh yes.
and effectively you mark all your energy every day. And over 3 months, you can then work out your energy pathways. You can work out when you've got high energy, when you've got low energy, because you will see a pattern. And at the end of it's a year's thing, and at the end of it, I mean, you can start at any point. I've also got quarterly or whatever, but at the end of it is a chart that you can then mark down so you can see. And I now work to that diary.
Yeah.
It
I
works around
love
the
that.
moon because I'm moon orientated, and most people will find it does work around the moon, and there are moons in there. But you will just find your high times and your low times, and then you can diarize and go, do you know what, I'm going to do this. So I like to write all my blogs when I'm on high energy, because I'm
Oh,
like,
same.
you
Yeah.
know
It just falls out of you really quick, doesn't it?
oh my goodness, it's so easy, so why would I make my life hard?
Yeah.
you
And I
know
think it's a lot of people find it easy to actually make life harder, especially the business owners that are coming into a lot of this stuff that's quite new to them. I think it's very easy to make life harder. And the best thing I've done is just make life a lot more simple.
we as a society, we have to work hard. We're only going
Mm.
to be the
Conditioned to
person we
believe.
need to if we work hard, and no, 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 no. And actually, do you know what, the whole for me is the fact that I get to take, so in my working week, one afternoon, so Thursday afternoon I go and volunteer. Friday is always a much slower day for me because I will often go off and have lunch with a friend on a Friday. And on a Monday, I go and work in a local shop because I spend all my life on a computer, and I actually want to see 3D people. So I've made that conscious. I'm not at the moment because it's out of season, but come March, I'll be there every
Yeah.
Monday at minimum pay, but it allows me to see 3D people,
Well, it
and I
fills your
get
cup in
interaction.
another way, doesn't it? Like you say, which I love.
Absolutely.
If we want to get your energy tracker and come and learn more about this, because we could talk about it all day, and learn more about what you can offer and what you can help us with, where can we find you?
So the website will be up in the next couple of weeks.
Ooh,
I know, so excited, so excited. As an ADHD person, the website doing everything about me is a really hard thing to do. I'm not good at writing about me, but So that should be up in the next couple of weeks. But for the minute, go find me on Facebook, Jenny Field. Find me on there. I have a group that you can come and join called Just Being Me. Loads of stuff goes on in there. I have an accountability group, which is just a membership. It's an amazing membership that watching people grow and blossom in there is amazing. If you want to work with me, I'm doing group programs. I'm doing one-to-ones. I do a free connection call because if I'm going to work with you, we need to connect. We need to be able to say the things we need to be able to say to each other. So there's never any judgment or anything from me. If we don't connect, we don't connect. You know, there are lots of other people out there that can help you. So you can always come and get a free call from me, but literally come and find Jenny Field on Facebook and let's have a chat. Just send me a message. And hopefully within the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to say, this is my website.
Yeah, well,
but as you know, Dani, because you started me off with my business basis. So let's recognize what Dani did for me. She started me off in my business basis, and watched as I started doing the Just Being Me, which was purely my journey at that point in time, wasn't it? It was nothing to do with business. It was just my own journey.
And actually, though, do you remember what you said to me when we first started working together? You was like, I want to do this because I've got experience in this, and this is how I'm feeling, and this is what I want to do. But it was just an idea at that moment. Yeah. And then when we finished working together, we were working on your other business, and all of us, you were just doing it. You were just off. Like, it was clearly meant to be.
It was absolutely meant to be. And also, you know, my previous business, which was sewing, which is part of my self-care.
Yeah.
What had happened is it had become not part of my self-care anymore because I had to produce at certain times and I had to produce certain things in certain colors that I didn't. So it wasn't self-care anymore. And all of a sudden I realized actually this is the direction. Well, actually I had a couple of friends literally push me, literally in August. They would just push. And that was August last year. And here I am. You know, I'm just about to open up one more one-to-one space for a client because I've just got room for that. And then in the next 6 weeks, I'll open up a group for 4 clients at a time, you know, because that's the space I have, because I'm actually busy, which is amazing.
It's amazing. I'm so proud of you. You've done so amazing. Not that you need my validation anyway.
No, I don't, but I do. I also am very grateful for what you gave me at the beginning, because gratitude is the highest energy you can get. And the more you practice gratitude, the more you attract that energy in. And that's not just me saying, oh, I'm grateful to you, Dani, because I'm going to attract it. Because if you do it like that, it's not going to work. You have to truly believe it. And actually, when I look back, I just think to myself, yeah, Dani got me on this path, and then I took me to here. But I needed Dani to sit beside me. And that's what happens with me, is the fact that clients come in with me, they do the work.
So that's really nice. Thanks. And I'm grateful for you, of course, and the whole journey that we had to. We worked together for a while, and it was amazing.
We did.
And I love watching you still now, and I love that I get to have you talking about what you do on here. So, last question is the one that I asked all of my guests, and it puts everybody on the spot, and I love doing it to them. But it is, what would be your top tip to being organised in your business?
Do what you love to do. Because if you're doing what you love to do, you do it organised.
Yeah, so that's actually something I do. So I have time in my diary that's just for whatever I want to do in that moment. So there's nothing blocked in, but it's what I want to do. So like writing my book, crochet at the minute is my thing, and I'll change again soon because I always.
But that's your self-care.
It is, yeah, but I love it as well. Sometimes I do the self-care like
when you say I love it, that's because it's your self-care, because it makes you feel good. So self-care, it is whatever fills you. This is my self-care.
The jigsaw, yes.
This is doing my jigsaw is my self-care. Doing your crochet is your self-care. You know, it's not a face mask, a bubble bath. It is doing the things that light you up. It can be anything you want it to be.
Yes. I love that.
So for me, when you say keeping me organized, it's not so much about actually, okay, I'm going to take some time to sit down and write my book. It's actually about, because I'm doing something I love to do, I need it to function in a particular way. Therefore, I have to stay organized.
Plus, I truly believe that when you do things you love outside of business, I mean, obviously I love my business, I love my work, but like you said, very easy to fall in love with that so much. It's all I do. But I
Yeah.
love my children, I love my husband, and I love spending time with them. So I go do that. Did it yesterday, even though they do stress me out sometimes. And then I love crocheting, I love other creative hobbies and writing just for fun. And when I do those things, when it comes to business and work and other stuff, I am more productive because I've had time to do what I love. And I
Absolutely.
try to tell
Absolutely.
clients this all of the time, because the moment that clicks, it does change your life, doesn't it?
It does.
I feel like
I,
I'm always exaggerating, but it's true.
no, and it is when you the thing is, there isn't just a massive moment where you go, oh, this is all working. You suddenly get down the line and you think, oh, this is easy.
Yes.
I'm getting the things that I want, and then that's the time when you go, why is, how, and then you go, oh, because this, and because of this, because I've changed this, because I've done this. And it is, honestly, I sat on one of our accountability groups calls. So in the accountability group, we get 2 coaching sessions a month. And I sat on one of them and I watched
That
this lady
happened.
go. She literally her face went,
Like, so
and
the ironic thing here is I say it's like a jigsaw because it just all of a sudden slots together and you're like, ah, that's when, yeah, and it just clicks.
yeah.
Oh, I could talk about this all day. I've loved having you on, but I have got
Can
to
I,
go
can I
see my
just say
husband.
also 2 things that I think is really, really important is the fact that actually when you're working on business, in your business, mindset is really important. You can't do a bit of
Absolutely.
business. Your business is going to be so much better if you get your mindset right. And that starts with you. And people have coaching purely for business, but actually there's a lot of mindset coaching in there. You do it, Dani. You're
Yeah.
talking to people about creating good routines, etc. But giving yourself time to do that with somebody that works on mindset is really makes a massive, massive difference. And the other thing is what you do is practice your self-care in front of your children, and then they're not learning to do it when they're adults. They're
I
doing
love
it
that.
right from, and children are so open-minded, they'll just do that. I have clients who have affirmations stuck around the room and the kids go up to it and they go, I am enough, I am amazing, and they're already doing it. So
Oh,
top tip, get your kids involved now.
great, great one to finish on. Thank you so much, Jenny.
You're
And
very
definitely
welcome.
check
Thank you for
her
having me,
out.
Dani.
The links are in the show notes and descriptions. Definitely connect with Jenny. Thank you so much, Jenny.
All
I will
right. See you
speak.
soon, Dani.
Bye.